We have some colleges, we have some experts in the field, and we also have some past students here. So thank you to all of our panelists. Afterwards, we do have a few counselors here. If you have some questions specifically about your student or maybe what some options might be here, but we're going to dive right in to honor your time. So I'm going to introduce Matt Breen. He's both a teacher and an innovator coach here, and he is going to moderate our panel. So thanks for coming, and Matt, I'm going to pass the torch.
Thank you. To begin with, we're just going to allow the 11 panelists up here to go down the line. We'll start at the far end and work this direction. Ask each panelist just a question or a bullet point or two as a form of introduction. After we get through the introductions, we have a few questions for the group that will run through the middle part of the panel. And as we get to about 7:50 or so, we'll open it up for any other questions that may come live here that you have right now or that happen to come up during the next 45 minutes. So we'll start down, Matt. If you could start for us, that'd be great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Let me try and grab this. Can you guys hear me okay? All right. My name is Matt Lyons. I'm from Dunwoody College. We are a 100-plus-year-old tech school, basically in downtown Minneapolis. I think it's the precipice of downtown and uptown. Some of the things that we're known for is we're one of the oldest welding schools in the country. We do have a larger robotics program. One of our graduates is Mortensen Senior, so Mortensen Construction came out of Dunwoody, so did Maury's Mazda. So we do have a large auto program, a large construction program. And then we've moved into the engineering as well. So people a lot of times just associate Dunwoody with just the trades, just the techs. We have moved into 4 engineering bachelor's degrees, and we do an architecture professional bachelor's degree as well. So outside of that, I know there were some questions on demographics of the school, so I know there's a lot of perception about tech schools. We do have nearly 20% women at the school. There's nearly a quarter of the population is students of color. The median age is 23. I'm trying to think what else there is. But yeah, so we're becoming an eclectic school. We're not the usual idea of what we used to be. We've definitely evolved from that idea, so I'm glad to be here.
Hi, my name is Don Ely. I'm from Hennepin Technical College. Hennepin Tech is the largest standalone technical college in Minnesota. We have 2 locations. One is in Eden Prairie, one is in Brooklyn Park. We have everything that you can think of there, everything from accounting to welding. We are not 100 years old, but we are about 47 years old. We have our average age is about 27. We have a lot of people from 15, 16, because we have a PSEO program, all the way up to 60. Through all walks of life, those who went to a 4-year and came back, those who've had their masters and come back. We have a lot of different programs that have a lot of paying potential. We do have fluid power and RN program. And that covered everything? All right.
Nailed it.
Again, my name is Don E., and I'm done.
My name's Steve Murray. I'm from Normandale Community College, down on the scenic bluffs of Bloomington, Minnesota. Hopefully you all know where that's at. We're the largest 2-year college in Minnesota. We offer everything from accounting up to zoology. Most of our students seem to transfer to 4-year universities. This year our students went to 46 different states. Most of them, we hope that they stay in Minnesota. So we get a lot of students going to the U of M schools, to all the state universities, as you hear other schools talk about that. So we have partnerships. Anyway, age ranges, similar to these other schools. We think our youngest student is 14. Our oldest student is in their 80s. You all look like you're 22, so you would fit in at Normandale. 40% of our students were born outside of the United States. Hopefully you'll ask us questions. And on the table over here, you can pick up information to get all the different areas of study. And again, ask us questions. And the one thing I'll tell you to do is visit the schools that you're interested in. No matter how much we talk, you need to visit schools.
Oh. My name is Carrie Brecht, and I am an admissions and enrollment counselor from Alexandria Technical and Community College. So I'm a couple hours west of here on I-94 out in western Minnesota. So our college is about 60 years old. We have about 4,000 students. About half of those are online. I would say that some of our really strong programs are things like diesel, nursing, welding, mechatronics, carpentry, that sort of thing. But I come from the University of Minnesota. That's where my degree is from, and I spent some time working there in admissions. And coming into this role in the trades has been super fascinating for me. So the second student that I worked with had a master's degree from Hamlin and came into our MedLab technology program because they were not finding employment. And that's a real thing that happens. So, you know, one of our big flagship programs is law enforcement. We're really excited because we have a 2018 Minnetonka grad right here. Wave, Jimmy. Can you wave to the crowd? Jimmy is one of our second-year law enforcement students. Your most recently elected sheriff in here in Hennepin County is one of our graduates. So that is a very big program for us as well. You know, tuition's about $5,500 a year. There's tremendous potential in terms of income and what you can make. We have a woman who graduated from welding, which is a 10-month program with us. She's currently in Egypt being certified in deep sea. She'll be an undersea welder. I mean, just crazy careers that you know, you maybe don't get exposed to every day, some of the hidden careers, that sort of thing. Tremendous opportunity and tremendous access. We have open enrollment, so we have a pathway for you to get in. One more thing I'll say is if you're here as a student and you felt like school just wasn't your thing, I would like you to consider that maybe you've been in the wrong kind of classrooms. And our classrooms are extremely hands-on. From communication, art, and design to interior design, you're going to be creating and doing things with your hands, working in engines and diesel. Our law enforcement program has an indoor shooting range. Each student will shoot thousands of live rounds. Like, this is a totally different model of education, and I just really hope you will consider it.
Hello, can you hear me? I'm Danny Monroe. Jeez. I'm Danny Monroe, and I'm from Dakota County Technical College. And we have over 50 plus programs that are all extremely hands-on, designed to transition the student directly into a career. We are education for employment. And we value and celebrate diversity. We have 58% of our students are first-generation college students, 29% students of color. A little over half of our student community are traditionally aged students. We do have a significant population of non-traditionally aged students, adult learners. Really tremendous opportunities out there for the trades, and it's a very exciting campus to work at. A lot of wonderful things happening. The labs look exactly like what the real world environment looks like in the careers for the programs that we offer. And we have a lot of students that drive quite a ways to come and do our programs because we offer such a unique portfolio of degrees like electrical line, the transportation programs, civil engineering, industrial engineering, programs that are not offered at a lot of colleges. So gorgeous portfolio, fun place to work.
Thank you, Danny. My name is Paul Kosmidas. I'm an owner at Olympia Tech Electric, which our office is not far away here in Plymouth, right behind the Home Depot. So the electrical industry is changing so fast. I grew up in it. My dad started our company as a one-man shop and one truck, and has really grown the business over the years. And then myself has been in it. I've been in it for close to 40 years. But my sister is my partner, and she's actually our CEO now. My son's in the business, so it's an exciting family business, and those opportunities are out there. I've seen so many changes in what happens out in the field and the type of work. I think people are always surprised. Our leaders are carrying around Surface tablets now. We're emailing drawings, and we're doing 3D CAD type work. We've got our own design group. There's just many, many aspects of the trades that maybe are different than the perception that's out there. We still are putting in pipe and wire, and there's a whole process to be done there, but there's so many parts of it. And we too are seeing a real change in the workforce, and are seeing and are certainly encouraging and are welcoming a lot of diversity. We need a lot of folks. There's a lot of retirement and a real need. I'm also on the board of Minnesota Subcontractors Association, which really encompasses all types of subs all through the state of Minnesota. And I can tell you each trade is looking for people. HVAC, sprinklers, fitters, plumbers, carpenters, concrete, you name it, every specialty sub-trade. There's a lot of rollover of people my age who want to get doing other things, and we need young people to help fill it. So very encouraging. I think you'd find a lot of support through the business environment to help you with educational opportunities, and just we'll talk more about kind of specifics of how to get into that too.
My name is Pat Becker. Can you guys hear me? So I own a company called PA Industrial Services. I'm an entrepreneur. I started this business 3 years ago from the ground up. And what we do, I'm a spokesperson for finding a niche within a niche within a niche. What we do is really wonky. We design, install, and maintain industrial pollution control equipment. So is there any welders in the room, or people who think they might want to weld in the future? So if any of you have ever welded, or you've been in a weld shop, every time you weld something, it creates smoke. So maybe you've seen pictures of a smoky room where they're welding. That smoke all contains metal particulate. And that stuff's got to go somewhere. That's why welders wear helmets when they weld. We design, install, and maintain the systems that suck that stuff out of the air, run it through some filtration equipment and some different technology, and then put that air back in to the facility so people can breathe clean and work in a safe environment. We started this business because I think we can all agree that workplace safety and health is really important, and it's really taking a foothold in manufacturing and in the trades. The idea of an unsafe workplace is it's not common anymore. I mean, any contractor will tell you that we're taking major steps to improve the safety of our working environments through a number of different reasons. And that's what my business does. We make sure that people's workplaces are safer and have clean air. Our people, I employ field service technicians, so our people, they get a truck with a bunch of tools, and they drive around and they fix people's things, they install them, and they really work as their own independent people. My people really don't know what they are because they all do a lot of different things well. I have people who are really good electricians. I have really good millwrights. I have really good HVAC people. I have good controls people. And some of them, they do all of it. Some of them do a little bit better than others. So we offer this career path for people that allows them to stretch out and do a lot of different things and have the freedom to do it. Paul hit it. It's a good career. It's changed a lot being in the trades than it was 30 years ago. Just what we do with technology. I mean, the things that people use technology for now, it's not just changing filters. It's using technology to evaluate whether the filter needs to be changed. And our technicians have to know that stuff, and that's fun, that's exciting. We have people who work for us in the field who make over $100,000 a year, and that's a good wage. That's a really good wage, and we encourage that. We want people to make good money because we want them to keep staying in the field and doing what we need them to do. So it's a great career path. I'm happy with what, I hope to answer any questions any of you have.
Can y'all hear me? Is that good? All right, my name's Jake Modell. I'm a full-time electrician apprentice and a 2016 graduate of Minnetonka High School. A couple months back, I was at my buddy's wedding and I actually ran into Mr. Evie. Any of you guys know Mr. Evie? No? Okay, well, and he brought up the idea of this trades panel, and right away I was pretty on board. And I really saw the need for a push in the trades. So 3.5 years ago, I headed up to Bemidji State after my senior year and started out at college in hopes to be a game warden. And that quickly changed. And then I was just pretty much a nervous freshman, undecided, didn't know what I wanted to do. So ended up coming home. I worked for my parents doing property maintenance. And that got me through the winter and gave me time to think on what career path I wanted to take. And after thinking a little while, I thought, well, I want to try being an electrician. And 2.5 years later, I'm still at it. It's probably been the best decision I've ever made. And I don't see myself going to work every day because I love what I do, so it doesn't feel like work for me. And that's pretty much why I'm here to push, what you want to do, whether it's 2-year school, 4-year school, or no school. As long as you put your mind to it, you can really excel in anything you'd like to do. So.
Cool. Can you guys hear me okay? All right. Sorry for my raspy voice. I was sick a while ago. It still hasn't come back yet. But Carrie gave me a little bit of a brief introduction, which is nice. She broke the ice for me. I can just jump right into the water. Makes it a little less scary. But I'm James Van Herky, better known as Jimmy Van Herky. I see a few familiar faces in here. I'm a 2018 grad and a second-year law enforcement student at Alexandria Technical Community College. A little bit about me. I was in the Minnetonka School District since 4th grade. Before that, I was in private schools, but the financial recession kind of changed that. So put me in Minnetonka School District. When I got into high school, one of the things that was really pushed on us when we were in 8th grade in middle school was that find a club, find something you want to do, a sport, something that you're good at, that you want to do to get you involved. And I heard that just time and time and time again, and I was just thinking to myself, what do I want to do? Well, I started to do police explorers with the city of Minnetonka through their police department. I did that all through high school, which was fantastic. So if there's any prospective law enforcement officers in here, I'd love to talk to you about an explorers program. I was a lieutenant of personnel my junior year and the chief my senior year. I have a little brother who's a senior year at Minnetonka High School who is the current chief, and he's going to be coming to Alex next year. One of the things that's great about this school too that Carrie said is that it is really hands-on. That was a big thing for me. I'm not a classroom learner at all. If anybody in here is really observant, they've seen me fiddling with all the stuff here on the table. I put that plastic water bottle back in my jacket because I'll sit here and make noise with it all night, because that's just what I got to do. So it's a great program. I love it a lot. Great school, great people, great instructors. I'd highly recommend it. If anybody has any questions, I'd love to answer them for you. And if I can't, I'll refer you to the right people to get them answered. There you go.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tucker Hurlbrink. I also went to Minnetonka a little bit before these guys.
I was 9.
Yeah. I am a professional millwright. and a member of Local 548, which is the Millwrights Union. I get asked what a millwright is a lot. Mr. Becker mentioned them a little bit, but most people don't necessarily know what they are. A millwright is a high precision skilled tradesman, and we do a lot, but we specialize in equipment installation, especially in like power plants and factories and stuff like that. I got into the union and the trade through welding. I have a degree in welding technology from St. Paul College. Had a really, really good experience there, and I'm sure we're going to talk more about that. I really like my job, and I'm not just saying that because my boss is here tonight. But it's a lot of fun. It's really cool. You learn a lot on the job, but trade schools are really good too. And yeah, I'm excited. Thanks for having me here. Excited to talk about the trades.
Good evening. I'm Heather McGannon. I'm Assistant Commissioner at the Department of Labor and Industry. And you might think of Department of Labor and Industry and you think we do OSHA and we do workers' comp, we do labor standards. We also do workforce programs, and I oversee those workforce programs as part of my portfolio. One of them is registered apprenticeships. So we register all the apprenticeship programs in the state of Minnesota, and it is National Registered Apprenticeship Week, so have to have a shout out for that. So I get to work throughout the state in workforce with other agencies as well. We also have a youth skills training program, which allows 16 and 17-year-olds to actually gain experience and have a wage while they learn about skilled trade positions. And so that's something that we have as an opportunity. Registered apprenticeship is a model. It's an earn and learn model, and you hear a lot about earn and learn. It is the kind of the original earn and learn. So it means that you have technical instruction, and the technical instruction can be whatever the employer sees it to be, as well as you have on-the-job training. You get structured under the job training. So you combine those two, and that's very productive. And in many of our programs, we have 3 of them: registered apprenticeship, dual training pipeline, and YST, or youth skills training, are 3 of the programs that we have those, and we find that works for a lot of students. And so I'll be representing those programs and also some of the state of the Minnesota workforce perspective as well.
Thank you very much, everyone. We are going to, schools, I'm going to throw a curveball at you right away, post-secondary institutions. I'm going to jump to number 6, actually, just based on things you mentioned in your original introductions. So my first question is for the far end here. What are the job prospects for your current students, and are there any easier or tougher areas to get into?
Let me start again?
Sure.
All right. Currently, our placement rate is 99% across the board. That does encompass a couple of programs who I think are as low as 85%. That usually just turns out to be a student decides not to pursue that trade. They usually do find work in something similar. I know that we do have a fall career fair that encompasses 200 employers who do pay to be at our schools. So I think right now, across the board, the trades, I think you'll hear the same thing from everybody else. The trades are just stocked full of jobs right now. There's an abundance, and it's a really great place to be right now if you're looking to find work and find a career that's, only 2 years or 12 months away, so.
I guess I'm going to echo the same thing. All the tech ed schools are at 99% placement rating. That's because basically we have our fingers on the pulse of industry. We work hand in hand with industry to place those students in apprenticeships, internships, things of that nature. There is no easier or tough way. Straight to the chase, it's about finding out what you love to do and coupling that with a career. I was a student that had ADHD, dyslexia, and it wasn't the point that I couldn't learn. I just had to learn it a different way. I spent that 2 years at Hennepin Tech. In that 2 years, I came out with 4 degrees, 2 diplomas, and a certificate. It's about finding what you like to do. If you hate math, If you want to be an electrician and you love being an electrician, you'll do the math. It's not to say that you're going to love math after that, but the means justify the ends.
Community colleges, a lot of our students don't actually get a degree. We get a lot of students that attend four-year universities. They come out and they may take a language such as Chinese, Japanese to supplement their other degree. They need that course to move up in their position at jobs. So only 25% of our students actually get their degree from Normandale. They get their degree from a university. But we're strong in the healthcare fields, nursing, dental hygiene, engineering. We send a lot of people to four-year universities. So those fields are outstanding. I think you'll hear that from a lot of community colleges. A lot of our students end up going on to get their final degree from four-year colleges. I hope I'm making sense to a lot of people. They start out at a community college, they end up getting their final degree from other colleges.
So in the fall, we do these program updates where we visit with all of our instructors and we say, what's going on in your fields? And the thing we consistently heard over and over and over again, because you're going to hear those kinds of numbers, 99% job placement, many programs have 100% job placement. But what they will tell us, for instance, mechanical drafting design engineering is a 2-year program on our campus. At our last program update, he showed us a statistic that there's over 1,000 vacant jobs in that area in Minnesota alone. So we might graduate 36 diesel mechanics. They'll have 70 calls from industry asking for students. We can't supply industry with as many students as they need in these fields. This is the market that we're in. And many of you maybe have heard that ratio 1 to 2 to 7. For every job that requires a master's level degree or higher, there's 2 bachelor level jobs. And I think this is actually a little outdated, but they say there's 7 jobs for people in a trade or a technical skill. So if you just do the math, and when we're pushing so many students in a 4-year direction, we're creating huge gaps, or we're underemploying people who have bachelor's degrees, or we don't have skilled workers, because just because you have a bachelor's degree certainly does not mean that you're ready, to be an electrician, right? So there is no shortage of jobs, and we just see the trend continuing for sure.
I feel like all the technical colleges got together and rehearsed because you guys said exactly the same words that I was planning on saying. The 1 to 7, I talk about that in our Tuesday campus visit presentations every week. What I can tell you, I would encourage students to explore the programs, even the ones that they're not familiar with. The demand for all of the programs in the trades and the technical fields is so significant. The earning potential is high because of that, and you're only spending money on 1 or 2 years of tuition. The return on investment for bachelor's degrees is not what it was. And I would encourage students, you've never heard of civil engineering maybe. Look into that program. Our graduates each had 5 job offers before they graduated last year. 5 job offers each for a 2-year program. And DCTC, much like the other 2-year schools, just because we're education for employment, our programs are designed to get you working in a career, doesn't mean that you can't further your education down the road or immediately. Like the gentleman over, I can't remember which one, but got a welding degree, and now So it can be a starting point as well. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's your career forever, really exciting opportunities. Look into the ones that you're unfamiliar with. Take advantage of the tech ed classes in high school, even the ones you don't think you're going to like. Take them.
Thank you. This question is for Paul and Pat. Do you have any recommendations for students interested in both education and gaining experience right out of high school?
So right now, and within the construction trades, there's some separation. There's union, non-union. Our shop is a union shop. There are non-union shops also. A little bit different route. Through the union, we now have a pre-apprentice program here, and there's two locals in the Twin Cities, Local 292 and Local 110, and both have a pre-apprentice program where we are already hiring directly young people with no education at all. And I don't know if the school people want to hear that, but we are getting to the point where we need people to a point that we're saying, come into our program. You'd start with our business for a year minimum. That second year, as the union's ready to take people in, you then get on a list to get in the union, and once you can get in the union, their program really starts to take over. And in the electrical trade, we have a joint apprentice training center. It's up in St. Michael. Again, very hands-on learning labs specific to our trade classroom as well. And the way it works is you work 4 days a week, and you go to school 1 day a week. You don't pay for that school. It's all included in the program. You get paid the days that you're working, of course. And I brought my rate sheet. It's first period apprentice starts out at $19.67 an hour. I think the pre-apprentice program is about 16. And then I won't jump into it, but I will at some point tell you about the benefit programs that are available. A little bit, so we got 100% health care paid in our local, so everybody who's in our local, they don't pay any premiums for health care. My wife was a nurse, and we didn't have nearly that kind of coverage. There's a pension, there's an annuity, 12% pension, 11% annuity, 4 weeks paid vacation the day you get into the program. Apprentices have paid vacation, and it's a group. When you're in the local and you're in the union, it is a family. It really is, and they help each other. And we want to train young people. We want people to learn our trade. So there's easy routes in. Education is recommended. So I don't want to leave without saying that. There are great 2-year programs that help you through that whole process.
The state and our local educators have developed some tremendous workforce development programs to help young people understand what's available and assist them in finding different opportunities. I recommend highly spending time talking to a school counselor, whether it's at the high school or at one of the organizations that are here now, and helping just to learn what's out there. Because we named a lot of different trades here, and millwrights, electricians, we have industrial maintenance, and you don't know what you don't know. And so, Department of Labor and Heather's team has a number of different programs to help young people kind of just get a gauge on what's available, as well as the schools. Manufacturers right now are dying for people to come work for them in welding and machine and automation. And they're offering apprentice programs through the local schools to try and encourage people to join. People like myself and my business, we offer apprenticeships to young people just to get them out to get out working and to try and understand, what is it do you like? Like, what do you want? Try something. But really, really highly advise working with Department of Labor, the Twin West Chamber of Commerce, the Minnesota State Chamber of Commerce, all have workforce development programs, and they would love to hear from young students or people entering the market just to learn about what opportunities are available. And last thing, the power of networking is amazing. Ask a friend, ask a neighbor. just to go to work with them someday and learn what they do. I bring my kids to work, and they've seen so much that they had no idea existed in the world, and it's been really helpful for them just to know how things work in the world. So.
Thank you, guys. Question now for the Minnetonka grads, and you've each touched on this a little bit in your own way the first time around, but how did you become interested in a trades program or in the trades? And maybe just elaborate a little more on the kind of learner you were, both in high school and continue to be.
All right. Well, so there's quite a few reasons that the trades really caught my eye. I touched on it a little bit earlier, but one of the big reasons is throughout high school, I always felt really pushed to go to a four-year school, whether it was my relatives, peers, school administrators, and it was always the same questions: what's your major, what college you going to, you know, and it really, deep down, it really drove me crazy, because I kind of thought that the key to my success wasn't education, and I stand strong in that, because neither my parents and neither my bosses went to a four-year school, and their business ventures are very successful. And my whole life, I've always been a hands-on learner, turning wrenches and helping my dad and whatnot out around the garage, and so that, you know, that really helped out. So being said, I knew that with the combination of my attitude, my work ethic, that my education wasn't what I needed for my future. And really, no matter how hands-on you are or how good you are at wrenching on stuff, it's pretty irrelevant. And the biggest thing for me, if you give it 100% on the job, like I started out no schooling as an electrician apprentice, and I went in my interview, he asked me, what do you have to offer? And I said, I'm willing and able to learn. And he said, all right, you're hired. So, yeah, I mean, it helps if you come in with a good attitude, they want to help you. If you come in lazy, you show up late, you're going to be the first one to go, and you kind of got to know that coming into it. I show up early every day, stay late when I need to, do anything I can, really. So really, my point here is do what's in your gut, and anyone can do it if you put in the effort. So.
All right. Well, I'll talk a little bit about me. So I'll tell you that when I got interested in law enforcement, it was when I was a little kid. I kind of remember the moment I was watching out the car window, my dad's old car, and I saw a Minnetonka Police Department Crown Victoria squad car screaming down Minnetonka Boulevard with the lights and sirens on, and I was just freaking out. And that's just kind of when I really got interested in it and always liked, police, fire, like a lot of little kids do. So when I got into high school, I started getting into it a little bit more and kind of set up those steps. And even though I knew that's what I wanted to do, there came that time where I had my skepticism, because it's a dangerous job, stressful, it's a high rate of divorce, there's a bunch of stuff that would turn a normal person away. So I sat down with my mom, and she was like, well, what would you want to do? I was like, I don't know. And her whole family's sales background, she's like, well, would you want to go into sales, like sell insurance, sell houses? And I was like, no, I wouldn't want to do that. So eventually I just kind of settled. I said, this is what I want to do. When it came to choosing a school where I wanted to go, I knew that going to a university was going to be tough, because I'm not a classroom learner at all, like I said. I was one of those kids through high school who took tests in a smaller room. I had a 504 in middle school, I had an IEP in high school, if any of you are familiar with those terms, but I was just super ADHD case. So I knew the school I was going to choose had to be something where I could learn or where I could excel. So I chose Alexandria, because it is really hands-on. And The part where it kind of really hit me the most was almost graduation, senior year in 2018, because a kid like me, you go in there, and high school was really tough, and you kind of sit through that really long graduation, and you see like your friends and your peers who have done extremely well in academics, and they have all their cords and their medals, and I was just blank with a blue gown, and I was just like, oh my God, I just felt so bad about myself. And I went to Alexandria, and I started classes, and I started doing exceedingly well. I love it so much. I went from having report cards in high school that were D's and F's and C's and all that garbage, and I aced 2 tests today before I came here. No applause needed. But it really is a great way to learn, especially if that is your kind of learning. So that's kind of what led me to the path. There you go.
I don't remember what the question.
Oh yeah, go for it. It was,
Oh, thank you. All right, so I guess my journey into the trades is a little bit different than these guys. In high school, I did the IB program and did pretty well, graduated from there, got into a 4-year school, and started doing that, and then kind of realized that wasn't for me at all. And I had got into welding through sculpture, which is kind of weird, but I always thought it was really cool. And then looked up the numbers and realized how much money welders could make, and decided to go to trade school for that. A lot of people in trade school have family who are in the trades, but a lot of us also don't. I was pretty new to that whole world. And that transition was still not that uncomfortable. You really learn a lot there, and I had very good instructors who realized that some people had very little experience in that kind of world and were very accommodating, and you learn a lot really fast. Yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you. One question here for Heather, and then we'll end with one down the line, a really quick one, and then we'll open it up. But Heather, could you please provide a 10,000-foot view of what the industry or market currently looks like and where it may be headed in the future from your standpoint?
So one of our agencies that I work closely with is Department of Employment and Economic Development. And they have tools that are free to everyone. If you look on their website, or I can give them my information, I can help you if you would like. But they help you really look at the specifics of how occupations and industries are going, because overall as an industry, we do have in the next 10 years, it looks like growth in construction. It's around 9 to 10% growth. And in manufacturing, it's probably similar. Those are great numbers. You got to look into each, because some occupations are going to be low within that industry and some are going to be high. So I would always encourage to really look not just at the general, like, oh, construction's going well. You got to look in and see what specific areas of construction, like electricians are doing well. Welding is a subset of several fields, but their HVAC is doing well. So there's some that are doing well and some that aren't doing well. And also the nature of construction careers are going to be cyclical. You have times when you are working and you have times when you're laid off, and you have to plan for those times. So it is a different cycle of work. And within manufacturing, they also are doing very well, and there's some sectors that are doing extraordinarily well that we have in Minnesota, and some that are really struggling right now because of global things going on. And so it's really important to look at that, but it's also the factor that we're going to have a third of our working population retiring in the next 10 years. Also, right now, our adult population, working population, has been overlapped by our school population. Our school population is higher. So there are a lot of jobs, but you have to have the skills, the specific skills to go into it. And so I think with that, you can, and just to give some wage perspective, the average wage or the median wage in construction starting is $24. And there's benefits and there's packages on top of it. In manufacturing, that's going to be probably in the high teens as a starting wage. So they're good starting wages, but what we don't always hear about is a career path. It's not an end. That's one of the things when I hear from your people, it's not like I make the choice and it's done. We all know, because we live that you're continually making choices, and there's a lot of different paths. You can go into construction, and you can end up in a master's degree program at some point. There are now pathways for that. You can end up as an entrepreneur. A lot of in the construction and manufacturing trades, you have a lot of entrepreneurial, just as Mr. Becker was talking about, that have various backgrounds. So there's a lot of paths to get to where you want to go, and that would be one of the high-level perspectives I've given, but also look at the data, and a lot of it is free for you to look at out there, but try to look at the specific occupations and try to suspend what we think we know about those industries and what we know about those jobs, because it's changing. Every job is changing, not the work that has to be done, but how the job is done and the environment in which the job is being performed is very different.
Thank you very much. Final question. We'll go all the way down the line here in rapid fashion, trying to save a little time, but if a student were trying to decide tomorrow between not attending a post-secondary institution, attending a 2-year school, or attending a 4-year school, what 30-second piece of advice would you offer to assist them in their decision?
Visit everywhere. 2-year schools, 4-year schools. Go to a job shadow. See everything, do everything, see it all. Don't limit yourself to some preconceived notion. Go see every school, go see every job, go see every employer, go see every trade.
Basically the same thing. Try it all because it all intertwines. Just because you're at a 2-year can help you get into a 4-year. Even if you're at a 4-year, you can always come back in the summer to take those general courses at a 2-year, which would make it cheaper. And even in the trades, you're still going to have some kind of schooling.
Community colleges are good if you're undecided on what you want to go into. It gives you a chance to explore.
I would definitely echo the visit everywhere, and then whatever stories you might have in your head about what kind of student you are, I would encourage you to be willing to rewrite those stories because this is a particular setting that really values and focuses on a particular skill set. Often that's sitting and listening and taking tests, not always, but often. That is not all there is in the world, and now is your chance to rewrite that story. So go see lots of places and be open to that.
I was going to say the exact same thing. Get your feet on some campuses. That's really how you're going to know whether or not you feel like a college is a good fit, is getting your feet on the campus. You'll usually know pretty quickly. Every year for the last 15 years, DCTC has offered what's called the Tuesday campus visit. Every single Tuesday for 15 years, people come to campus at 1 o'clock and they leave at 2:30 knowing if that program that they were looking at is a good fit. If it's not, well, now you know. You don't spend 6 months thinking you might want to do it and not know if it's not a good fit. And during that visit, you actually get to have some one-on-one time with faculty or an advisor for your program of interest and go see the labs and talk about the career. So students leave with a very clear picture and confidence in whether or not it's what they want to do. And if it is, they know exactly what to do next to get a spot in the program. So get your feet on campuses. That's really how you're going to know. And different types of campuses, different sizes, different types of institutions, 4-year, 2-year. Take advantage of the days that you have that you can miss school to go and visit colleges during the day. Bring some friends. Come to the Tuesday campus visit.
Thanks. I would say the 2-year schooling for our trade, really most trades, does make sense. It helps you even when there are programs that you don't need the education for, but both routes are available. I would say don't hesitate to talk to business people. If you were to stop at my office, I'm right behind Hope Depot, you can look folks up. I would venture to guess, as you heard, we need people, that we'd be more than happy to talk, have you stop in, explain what our business is, help you find the resources to check out what you want. You could see this training facility in St. Michael, talk about what kind of jobs and tasks we do. So don't hesitate to ask. I know it can be intimidating, but I think the young people here have just great attitude, and if you can kind of bring that to it, that's huge. It really is.
Just remember that your first step is never your last step. Use your resources, use your high school counselors, use the people from the schools that are here today. Talk to people in the Department of Labor, your local chambers of commerce. Talk to your friends, talk to your family. Find out from them what's out there. And then find something that you really like, almost something that you love, and go for it. Don't let society tell you what path to go down. You go down the path that you want to go down. A career path is a long, long journey. And there are people who own manufacturers today who started out in the packaging department. It's never an end, no matter what you do. So find something you love and give it a try. If you don't like it, you can try something else.
Like for many of you, after high school, it might be a pretty big decision what you want to do with your life. Best piece of advice that I'll give you is do what's in your best interest for yourself. Don't let your peers or your parents push you one way or another, if you're not comfortable or if you won't be happy with it. And I look at success, it's not always defined by a grade. And really, it's defined by who you are and the work you're willing to put in to become who you strive to be.
The advice that I would give to this individual in 30 seconds is I'm going to tell you there's no straight line that you need to follow. Because that was a big thought in my head was that, oh my God, I need to do this because that's what my friends are doing, that's what my parents do. No, there is no straight line you need to follow. You need to find something that you want to do, that you, like Patrick said, that you love, something you're going to have passion for. That's where you're going to strive. Don't let your peers, any sort of outside source influence your decision. It's your life. You need to be your own compass and find it for yourself.
Yeah, just briefly, when I graduated, I really wish somebody would have told me it's okay to not start at a 4-year college right out of high school. If you're not totally sure, a 2-year college or a pre-apprenticeship program for a union or something can be a really, really good choice. So I would consider it.
And I would say start with what you were told from middle school on that said, figure out what you like and why you like it. Figure out what you don't like, why you don't like it. And then explore some things that you might not have tried or thought about. And I think what's really important for young people and for parents, I think it's important for parents too, to actually go see what some of these places look like and where they're at. I'll never forget my son came to my office when he was little, and he looked around, and he asked me what I did, and I told him, and he was completely bored. And he goes, this looks like the worst thing in the whole world. And I thought, oh, I'm doing okay. And he's like, the best part about your office is candy, Mom. And that's what he would say right now. And then fast forward many years later, he sat me down, he goes, Mom, I did some research, and I don't know if I'm going to college. And I said, I'm okay with that. But you need to have a living wage, and you have these, I have a list of things that I need. And he said, I think we both know this school thing is something I have to do. And I said, yes, you have to do it. But he goes, I got to work with my hands. He goes, I learned history when we're going around, and we're biking and we're doing that. I need to have the hands on. And I think so it's listening to your kids, even though it's hard and not the path you might have for them, and also encouraging your kids to do that exploration, because it is breaking out of the norm. But there is not one path, there is not one way, and college is not a destination. I spent most of my career in higher education. It's not the end destination. It's supposed to be the beginning of the next thing, so there's many ways.
Thank you very much. We have a couple minutes here. If there are any questions from the audience, again, naturally, we encourage you to have questions that are more general for the group, and if you have individual questions, you can ask here in a couple minutes when we close up. Any questions for any part of the panel or for everybody in the panel?
Do any of your schools have farming programs?
Farming programs?
So we will often have students who have been interested in farming or from a family farm, and they choose one of two program areas for us, and that's diesel mechanics and business are the two. But we don't have a dedicated agricultural program. However, I'm part of the Min-State system. There are 3,800 programs that are represented in the Minnesota state system, so there certainly are programs out there. There's a little guide, I'm sure your counselors, and are you getting it there? Yeah, so she and I have the exact same presentation apparently.
You can go to org, and if you do a search under programs, it'll list who offers agriculture. I think that's the website, or minstate.edu.
You can go and look at all the programs, but there is one in Mankato that is a great program. It's a center of excellence in agriculture. They have horticulture. They have other 2-year programs, and then we have many that have 4-year programs too, or lead to 4-year programs. So there's 2 centers of excellence as well for agriculture programs. And there's quite a few now coming in apprenticeship where you can be working and learning.
We don't have agriculture, but we have a horticulture and landscaping where you will learn about floral and fauna, what types of soils, soil preservation, hydroponics, vertical garden, all those different things.
I showed that Southwest Minnesota State offers that program. 2 options.
Thank you. Another one up here.
My question is to the Minnetonka graduates. What has been your best way to balance your work life with your personal life?
Sure. That's one thing that I really, really like about the trades is that you rarely have to take a lot of work home with you. I don't know if that's your guys' experience, but I mean, when you're there, you work really hard and then you go home for the day, which is a really good way for me to be, at home, off the clock, and then on the clock. So sometimes you put in a lot of hours, but there's very few times when you're answering emails or phone calls late at night, stuff like that, which is really nice.
So in my college town, there is not much to do if you don't like to fish or consume alcohol, if you're a college student. So I actually just, my balance is pretty good. I have school through the day, and then I spend the afternoon doing homework, and a lot of that I do with classmates. And then something that I haven't touched on yet is that for my work, I'm actually employed by the city of Minnetonka as a CSO through the police department, and that's pretty new for me. So I do that on the weekends. I just make the drive. So it's pretty easy. You just kind of got to know your balance, know what you can do, what you can handle.
For me, it's, 2.5, 3 years ago when I started, it was a little harder to, felt like, oh man, full-time job, this is a lot. But really, it's not a huge deal. I work 7 to 3 every day. So I come home. In the summer, you still have 6 hours of light. In the winter, you come home and you go ice fishing. So, and like Tucker had said, I really don't take work home with me. I'll always be thinking about the next job or this and that or what I can improve on. But it's really not hard to handle. And in all the trades, you'll get your busy seasons, and I'm sure right now we're all pretty swamped, at least we are, and all throughout summer usually. Winter slows down a bit, so you get some free time there, a little easier to take vacation if you want and whatnot.
Great, so it's already 8 o'clock, this time has flown, so maybe you can join me in thanking our panel. Oh, is there one more question? We can do one more. Yeah, let's do one more. Great. I like one more. Do you want to yell it or do you want a microphone? I can yell. Okay.
Hire a really good bookkeeper.
You know, it's and all joking aside, a lot of people who are skilled will someday want to own their own business. Whether you're a really good electrician and you want to start your own company, or you're really good at industrial maintenance. The skill is important. The next step for them, I can tell you, for me, no joking, the whole managing the business, the bookkeeping, the cash flow, the managing your invoicing, all of those things, I think that's the hardest thing for people to learn if they've been in a trade or a particular skill area all of their life or for a long time. So when you start out on your own, it's really important to get a good handle or have people around you or people that you know who can help you with those things, managing your books, managing your cash, so that you as the business owner can do what you do really well, and that your business doesn't suffer because of it.
Some of it for me, so think about like solar and the electrical is really booming. Minnesota is actually really good for solar. There's a lot of opportunities for entrepreneurs. The business environment is really good right now. Most of the people in my office came through the trades, so they're starting as apprentices. The president of our business was an apprentice, started in the field, and he's now running the business operations. And there is, and it's the attitude. I will say, you really got to come into it ready to work, give your all, show up, give effort, and the path is there, where people can start off on your own, but even grow within our existing businesses to do a lot of different things. Can I just say, I just want to tell you guys some of the jobs we've worked on. So we did Ridgedale's remodel last year. You've probably all been to Ridgedale, and it's really big upgrades. So we did all the LED lighting upgrades and the exterior stuff, and signage and stores and fire alarm and speakers, and there's a whole power side of our business. There's a whole low voltage side, computer networks, antenna systems, security, almost endless really with what's happening. That lighting is becoming driven over low voltage. So there's a whole change where computer wiring is going to power lights, power over Ethernet. The kind of technology, I think, that probably isn't thought of in the trades. I mentioned that our leaders are carrying tablets. We're doing CAD, 3D drawings, laser measurement for device locations. It's really incredible. And so there's a lot of arenas. We had an intern from Dunwoody who's now full-time with us, and I talking with her today. I think she'll become one of the leaders of our design group. So there's a lot of arenas, a lot of things. We worked on the Mall of America. We've worked on 20-plus story student housing buildings at the U. We're working at a business that makes organic pesticides. So it's really an intriguing, I think, for you in the trades as a millwright, you've probably seen incredible places. It's always fun to work at these businesses and see how we contribute to society and what we're all putting together here. So.
One other thing, entrepreneurial piece, the gig economy, I don't really know what that means, but I think I do. It's amazing. You can hire a part-time CFO who will look at your business for 2 hours a month. You can hire a part-time bookkeeper who does it all remote, online. In the old days, you had to hire a full-time accountant or a bookkeeper to run your business, and a lot of people can't afford that starting out. And that's where a lot of businesses go wrong, is because they work all day and they get home late at night and they're tired, and they still got to do all their invoices and their bookkeeping, and you can hire part-time HR. Starting a business today is easier than it's ever been, allowing people to do what they do best and find all these bit players out there who can handle your books, your HR, your payroll, all this, and not have to hire all these people to do it. So it's a really, for those of you who think down the road you want to become an entrepreneur, it's a good path. There's a good path to get into it and grow your business.
So,
You can go to a community college and get a certificate in human resources, entrepreneur skills. You can get all these certificates at either Normandale or one of these other schools. They all offer short-term 4-month programs.
The good thing about that is learning, getting to know people, so networking. And while I was at Hennepin Tech, I did find people that were in business. So I tampered around with Daddy Do Barbecue when Mama Don't, Daddy Do. These are things that you do, and because you have friends that, and you are networking, you have friends that are accountants that you, this is what I'm trying to do. Let me see. So it's really easy to, as long as you have the love to do it, because you'll be putting in hours on top of hours. So as long as you have the love and you put good people around you.
Awesome. So I do want to honor everybody's time because it is already almost 8:10. So if you still have questions, I encourage you to hang tight and try and maybe connect with somebody who you think might offer some insight for you. But I just want to thank our panelists for driving far and wide to be here tonight. So thank you so much. Just a couple of quick wrap-up notes. We do have some materials from the different schools on the table, so make sure you swing by that if you're interested. We will have a little survey coming out post this just to seek your feedback. We are going to offer another student panel this winter, and your insight is important. We want to ensure that we continue the conversations and offer pathways that that are honoring your needs and your interests and your passion areas. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you to our panelists, and thanks for your time tonight. Have a great night.